there's a medical device recently that had this algorithm in it that was supposed to take like an average window of data, but they only averaged like the last two numbers. And it was, and this medical device could cause such harm, but it was like people weren't allowed to audit it. And there's this other law that came into play called the Right to Repair Act.
Right.
Which has some similar sort of like, issues around it. And it's affecting people locally in our space. There are tractors that people buy that they technically lease them now. And in the past, farmers had this do-it-yourself culture. You asked me earlier if it was important to be able to build something. If you were a farmer, it was very critical that you could repair your tractor. Mm-hmm. With these new tractors, you are not allowed, the second you touch it, you void the warranty. And you're not allowed to do that, and you have to wait for some representative to come out and fix it. And so that changes the whole, like we talked about workflows a lot, but it affects the whole workflow of the farmer changing that. And so, I'm digressing, apologies.
Do you do a lot of things? I didn't see anything that too much related to healthcare, but are you doing a lot of healthcare research, or is that something you want to do?
We've done a lot of work around autism spectrum disorder.
Right, that's what I saw.
And machine learning in that space, not for diagnosis, I want to stress, but for encouraging communication with parents and clinicians and with advising in decision making. We've also done a lot of work in with people with aphasia, and are now looking at some projects around machine learning workflows to help with concussions. And there's been some other parts along the way. We did a lot of participatory design, following students, and getting their feedback on what they needed. So, for example, a student in a wheelchair didn't understand why in a movie theater the counters had to be so high. Like, she wanted to look somebody in the face when she bought a movie ticket. And so she was like, well, maybe I could make like a robot and I could just put on the counter and it could have some of these interactions for me. And there were some people who wanted tools that, like, they had a hard time saying no. Mm-hmm. They just wanted like a tool that would say no for them and like support them as they said no. And so I love like these little design interrogations where we call them like cultural probes. It's a name that researcher named Bill Gaver came up with. And, but like providing lots of different opportunities for people to come up with things that they might want, but not know that they want. Like the person like didn't know that they wanted like a tool that just said no for them before the beginning of this process, but by the end they're like, this is what I want.
Maybe it made the person more confident to say no, like even without it.
Yeah. But so those kind of projects I love.
Yeah, I think it's important to divide, things that, I think that there should be two types of things. People who just follow curiosity and create things for themselves in a way, and then once it's becoming and bigger and whatever, then yes, you should have participatory like research and stuff like that. Because,
and I'm not saying there's only one way to do it, right? Like I don't think we shouldn't stop curiosity-driven work.
Right.
I think it's important to understand lots of different methods. And know when to use the right ones and when to alternate a little bit and